Spain has this style of life that the US didn't offer.
So what does your day look like now compared to when you when you were in the US?
I don't think you can come without 100% controlled plan. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It will not be a perfect plan, but you have to have an idea that is realistic about what you will face.
Why did you pick Spain? You're French, you know France, you have family in France, but why did you choose to move to Spain or Valencia specifically?
It's a funny detail when she says search words. You don't know what to search for.
Right,
you don't know what
exactly.
to Google for.
And I have to say that in the US there is a lot of support and the system is very well done for a child who has a disability from as it starts kindergarten until they exit, so until high school. But after that, all that support that is very well done, all that support kind of disappeared. You need to be here. You cannot foresee all those questions, all those things while you're in the US.
Yeah, it's a never-ending process. Maybe I would say the biggest difference is my life is less focused on work and more focused on recovering the life that I once was so eager to have.
Hi guys, I'm Bea with Everything is Boffo, and today I'm with my good friends Annelise and Fabio. They are our neighbors and good friends, and they too have moved to Valencia around 4 years ago. And I think Paul and I want to talk about this topic because it is something that's important to a lot of families that are thinking of moving to Spain, but it's something that, because Paul and I don't have kids, this is not something that we personally have any experience on. So they have graciously given us their time and their experience, and today we're going to be talking about that. So thank you guys for inviting us into your home.
You're welcome.
And I think people are curious what this topic is, but first I'd love to start by you telling us about yourselves, like about your family, and then afterwards how you came into Valencia.
Sure, I'm Costa Rican. I was raised in Costa Rica until probably 21 years old, and then moved to the US to complete my studies, and then after that we met and we stayed there for a long, long time before coming to Valencia for the first time in 2021, right?
2021, yes. So I'm French, but we met in the US, and we lived our adult life in the US. We had the kids in the US. We spent about 25 years.
Michigan, Dallas, Arkansas,
and Baltimore. Yeah.
Wow.
So
You've been around.
Yeah. And then 2021, right during COVID, where we had all those conversations because everybody was home and we had time to think about the future, we decided to leave the US with kids and come to Spain.
Yeah, and from what I understand, your kids were grown, but they hadn't finished their studies. Or at least one of them has not finished her studies at that time, right?
Yeah, so we have a boy and a girl. Our daughter still had 2 years of high school. Our son was done, had graduated high school, and he was done. But our daughter still had 2 years of high school.
I see.
When we decided to come.
So what made you decide during that conversation with your family to move to Europe? I mean, I understand you're French, but the kids have known the US as their home for a long time.
That's true. So me, because I grew up in France, I wanted to give the kids this experience of living in Europe, which is completely different than the US. But I think it's a good experience, so I wanted to give them that. So that was one thing. The second thing is that so we have Julian, who has a disability, and being in the US, there is not a lot of support. Me being French, I knew that in Europe there is a lot of associations that exist and give a lot of support to people with disability, and we thought, well, maybe it's a good time to go and try this route.
Yeah, and if you have a family member that has a disability, you will know that your life is tied to that disability, right? Your life, for good or bad, surrounds that person. You have to plan your life with that.
Absolutely.
So at that moment, at COVID, there's a lot of conversations, a lot of things that you say, okay, what about the next 5 years? What about the next 10 years? Julian had finished school. He went to the lab school, which is a specialized school for kids with learning disabilities in Baltimore. So the next step for him was about to start. And that next step is quite scary, right? The US is a great place for individuals to thrive, to work. to make a professional career, but for somebody with a disability, it's a very scary moment. And then you ask a lot of questions. And as his life goes, your life would go as a married couple. So that was the right time to ask those questions.
And I have to say that in the US, there is a lot of support, and the system is very well done for a child who has a disability from as it starts kindergarten, so 5 years old, until they exit, so until high school. So either 18 or 21, because if you have a disability, you can stay in school until 21. But after that, all that support that is very well done, all that support kind of disappeared. And you're a person like everybody else. But if you have a disability, you do need that support.
Right, yeah, like it doesn't end at 18, right, for them, no.
Well, yeah, so is that transition, what does it mean? It means that if you're gonna look for a job, well, you compete with everybody else, and it's a competitive market, right? If you want to have an independent life, well, you have to drive in the US. Well, what if you cannot drive? Then that's a problem. The problem for them and a problem for you. So sometimes when you have a disability, especially if it's not obvious, you might face, not going to say discrimination, although that happens too, but you face misunderstanding, people who don't see your disability and don't adapt the workplace or their life around that disability. So when we say, maybe not the age, but that moment in life when you shift from maybe being a kid to being an adult.
Yeah, suddenly like they don't know that you're in the special class or you're in this special school, like because so basically your environment changes to you're now out in just with other normal people, and that's it.
Yeah, you start making decisions, you start acquiring responsibilities, your social life changes, right? Do you have friends? Okay, well, who are your friends? In the US, maybe your friends are those who you work with or those who you grew up with, but when you have a disability, that circle changes, because you don't relate to people that don't have a disability as easy, and depending on the disability, of course.
So all that together, we thought, let's move out of the US, and we made some research. Of course, we made some research and see what was out there and other possibilities and what this life could look like outside of the US.
And having a child with a disability is not about them only. Right? Families are impacted right away. So your marriage will be impacted, your other children will be impacted, and that pressure, that stress, that responsibility that you have wears on you heavily. So another set of questions emerges.
Yeah, and you want everybody, not that just that person, to be happy, because you're so connected and you're going to be connected and linked all your life. You want everybody to be happy, not just one person. Everybody has to find their own happiness.
And that means simple things. So suppose you want to go to the movies and your kid cannot stay home alone. Well, what do? You cannot go to the movies then, right? Or you have to find somebody who stays with your son or daughter, unless you have a different arrangement, which is actually what we're going to talk about, how you find that in Spain. So the simple things, right? I just talked to you about doing that, but what if it's different? What if you want to just have a moment of peace, because that stress that you feel needs to be somehow managed? Well, it's not that easy to find as an individual. Funny enough, it is easier to find as a collective. So if you find that collective mentality, which we think is not as easy to find in the US, then it allows for that type of release.
I see, and I think also because culturally, Americans are a little bit more individualistic. We are used to just keeping to ourselves, or staying out of people's business and all of that. Whereas in other cultures, there's more of a community that is always around them. That's always around you, right? Yeah.
That's a big part, and the pace of life, I would say too. In the US, you're always thriving, you're always competing, you're always working or always busy, and it's okay maybe for you and I, but for somebody who learns, say, at 20% the speed, then it's too fast. Then it's too fast for them, right? And then if it is too fast for them, it means it's too fast for you, and you need a way out.
Right, because you are all affected. It's not just that one person that has to deal with
family.
it, right?
It's
or
everybody.
experience it. Yes, in some form at least. Yeah. going back to my question also about like why you left the U.S. or why you decided to leave the U.S. Why did you pick Spain? You're French. You know France. You have family in France. But why did you choose to move to Spain or Valencia specifically? Like you're laughing already. Yeah, but why that?
So when we decided to move out of the US, we thought, okay, we're going to go to Europe. For visa purposes, it would be easier. I'm French, everybody is French, so it's going to be, we're going to go within Europe. And we thought we're going to go to a country where we speak the language. And so really we were like, between France or Spain, or we thought also about Ireland. But then we thought also, because everybody has to be happy, everybody, we have to, I like the nice weather. I like the sun, I like the beach.
Weather in Valencia, well, you guys know, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also the cost of life. So we thought France is, at the end it was really between France and Spain. France is more expensive, so cost of life. So really went down to Spain quickly, quite easily and quick. I think we chose Spain.
I remember looking for schools for other, like we have a daughter that at the time needed to graduate from high school. She does not have a disability. And so we needed an American model, and Valencia has American schools, so that she could finish her curriculum as she had it in the US.
Exactly. So we thought, Valencia, and we didn't know Valencia, but we thought we're going to try. We're going to give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, well, we'll go to plan B.
Julian was the final ingredient, right? You make your research and say, okay, how does this place benefits or limits my ability to deal with a son that has a discapacity? Well, disability, I meant. And then, you discover this world, and whenever you're ready, we can talk about that.
Yeah, actually, so that's actually one of the things that must have hit your checklist, right? Like what is there for your son? So can you share us about that? Like what were your search words, and what was it that was important for him, right? Like, so you're thinking for him, what would be important for you? Yeah.
It's a funny detail when she says search words. You don't know what to search for.
Right,
you don't know what to
exactly.
Google for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a specific, like for example, if you have a child with Down syndrome, then Down syndrome is easy, right? Because it has a name, it has a diagnosis. Right. If you have somebody with a learning disability, then you want to search for discapacidad, which is the legal term in Spain. So in Spain, people with a disability, you're not recognized as somebody who has a disability unless you have like a certificado, which is a certificate of disability, for which you have to present documentation, maybe reports, diagnosis, stuff like that. But once you have your certificado de discapacidad, which translates into disability certificate. But the term that you search for initially is discapacidad.
I see. So when you search that, what were you looking for specifically?
Because I grew up in France, and of course I'm still in touch with everything. My family is in France. I knew of those associations. They call them association, and for people with disability, that gives you either activities or support, or they get together. So I kind of like an idea of what it was. So I went into Google, and I did Google it, and I put, I don't remember exactly what word did I use, but probably association, disability, activities, labor for people with disability, things like that. And a bunch of things came up. You have a lot of different associations that came out. Within Europe, but specifically in Spain, because we looked into Spain, but it was in Valencia, and it was in Malaga, Alicante, Madrid, of course, Barcelona. They were everywhere.
You have to think of it in buckets. So once your kid is hitting that age or that level of development, then the dream of a family is that this person has an independent, meaningful, happy life. That's the dream of a parent who has a child with a disability. So then you can start imagining the bucket. So one bucket is, for example, can he have an independent life? And that means, can he get a job? And then you can discover how in Spain, for example, if any private workplace that has 50 or above employees has to by law reserve 2% of their job placement for people with disabilities. 10% of the public job offers have to go to people with disabilities. Now, if you have that as a disabled person and you get one of those jobs, then you get also tax advantages, right? You pay less taxes, and not only for your income, but for your transportation. You pay less taxes. If you buy a house, you pay less taxes. If you rent a house, you pay less taxes. And it all depends on your level of disability. So you can think that's one bucket, but that doesn't mean a happy, meaningful life. No, so there's the leisure part. People with disabilities need leisure, and they need a circle of friends, you can call it, that they can, or a supporting circle that not necessarily is the family, because the family maybe is reaching its limits, right?
Yeah, and the social part of life is very important.
Exactly.
You know, everybody needs to have like a social group or a group of friends that you can go out with. You know, so I mean, it's
so Julian actually belongs to an association that was started as a leisure association. And what does it mean, leisure association? Well, it means that people with disabilities would get together and they would have times of leisure, but that time of leisure was a release for the family who also had their time of leisure, their
so it's not only for the child or the young adult, but it's also for the family. It's a breath of fresh air, you know, yeah. And you know, your child is having fun. He's doing something outside of the house with friends. So it's good for him, but it's also good for you.
Yeah, this association that we're talking about, the Leisure Association, which today is more than that, but it started as a leisure association. It's called 𝗪𝗏. It has a professional psychologist full-time. It has a professional social worker half-time working there for a total of 42 families today.
And it started with six families.
Wow.
So it will be us and another family, and everybody has a child with a disability who was having issue, maybe making friends, or he's just alone, or he doesn't want to get out of the house. And so they got together and they say, well, we're going to bring those kids together and we're going to make activities once a week. So they have something to look for, you know, something to do on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And
that's another
bucket.
Like that. That's another bucket. Then you say, okay, what about driving, which was an issue in the US? Well, that's another bucket. Then you get to see the city, the public transport. So people with disabilities have free public transport in Spain. So how do I do that, right? How do I access that? And it doesn't matter, because you, as an American, if you think public transport, I don't think, it's hard to understand, right? That here most people don't have cars because the way cities are built, you don't need to drive, you don't need to take a bus. At most, you take the metro, and you can walk every day. Well, for somebody with a learning disability that is not physical, it's more intellectual disability, they can walk, and they're very happy walking. Are there open spaces where these people can
they
thrive?
become more independent because they can go from A to B without having to ask their parents or.
So that's another bucket,
right?
So when you were asking, we were thinking of this adventure, well, there were many buckets, and then you go and you check each one and you try to keep them, but it's always a risk. It's always there's always that step that you never know.
But with all that, we had a vision of his life, and we thought his quality of life is going to be better here in Spain than in the US because of all that.
Yeah.
And if his life is better, our life is going to be better. So if he's happier, we're going to be happier. So, you know, we're all connected. So then that's it. We said, let's go, we move. We sold house and cars and furniture, and we came here. And it's been 4 years, and it's been good. It's been really good, because all of that worked out. Yeah, we had the 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏 certificado, so he had his certificate. He found a job. So he's part of two associations. One that is more labor related, and they found him a job. They trained him for a job. They check on him, and then he has this 𝗪𝗏 association, which is more like for for fun, and they do activities every Saturday. They do, yeah,
development,
and
right?
they have workshops, and yeah, they teach them how to cook,
how to deal with money, how to deal with sexuality. They have nights out to dance. They have nights out to the restaurant. They have, and it's very professional. It's not like we meet to play Monopoly. No, they have a schedule of skills that the professional psychologists that we have working for us determines those are the basic needs that they need to develop for this year. Then at the end of every year, they have a trip, probably a 1-week trip, in which they go by themselves with psychologists and volunteers, in which those lessons are supposed to come together. Same thing with the work, the work-related association is amazing. It's hard for a foreigner to think that this exists.
But it is, I mean, it made such a difference for him because they train him for the job, but they also, like the first month, someone from the association would go every day with him to show him the work, explain him, to be kind of like the link between him and the company. But she would stay with him and she would show him the work and explain him adapt the job for him.
Yeah, and the other workers would be trained, right? The workplace is adapted and the other workers are trained. Someone with a disability will work here. What is a disability? How should you act to make his life better? What is your relationship with a person with a disability?
So the person with disability is not just thrown into the job. No, he's with someone, he has that support, and that made a whole difference.
It's hard to believe. And if there's a message for people immigrants say, who come to Spain, or in general people who have a family member with disability, it seems simple, but it's hard to understand. And it is that you cannot do it alone. You can put effort, you can put work, you can put time, you think you're doing the best in the world, you cannot do it alone simply because you've never done it before. Right? So in the US, one of the elements that we were talking in the US versus Spain, in the US these efforts are, like you were saying, very individualistic. So you push and you look for the best resources, and maybe you find a tutor, and maybe you find this other resource that you can pay for, and a psychologist, and you try your best, and it's really a big effort, but you're doing it by yourself. And it makes a big difference if you don't do that. If instead you choose a community that has
experience. So did that maybe before and say, listen,
this way
we've been doing it didn't work out,
or it does. We've been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
And you have a professional, because you might think, I don't know, you might think that you can learn how to do math. Yeah, but a mathematician knows better. So the same thing, you might think that you can learn and do things for your child with a disability, but a psychologist that has studied these issues is better prepared. And a collective that gives you that support does the things that you cannot do by yourself.
Right, and I don't think you will have even enough time to do it all. You can't be with your son 24/7 and just like, okay, I'll go to work with you and do this, right? No,
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. It is 24/7.
It is. You actually do 24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
A disability changes your life.
Yeah. But I think, it is, isn't it like, my point, I guess, is like, but it would be a disservice to your child to just be just you doing it.
Completely.
That's a lesson to learn.
That's right. Exactly.
Like you need these people to help you. Otherwise, you'll go crazy too. Like
people go crazy.
People go crazy.
Marriages fall apart. Yeah. People go crazy. There's all sorts of stress and anxiety that goes with it. Shame too, because there's so many people with disabilities, but maybe you don't see them. They're not so visible. Yeah.
Because
so you think you're alone,
physical,
but you're not. You're not alone.
Right. So and that's the importance of like these associations. And actually, I have two questions. So Julian, you said belongs to 2 associations. So a person can belong to more than one association, right? They're not limited to And then the person who helped Julian during that first month, did they stay for an hour during his shift? Did they stay?
So he works 4 hours. It's a part-time job. He works 4 hours, and that person at the beginning would stay half the time, so 2 hours, and she would come every day with him for the first month. And then as it kind of like it's not the same. I mean, as she sees that he would need less support, she would come less and less. So he's been working there for almost a year, And she still checks on him, I would say, twice a month. And she stays with him about 2 hours, and she checks with the company, and to see if everything is going well, if there's little thing to adjust, to adapt. So they still, it's an ongoing partnership.
And having something do that for you, I remember. So this was not Julian's first job, right? No, but in other jobs he would not be successful. And I remember having this conversation with the professional at the association, and she told me straight up. She said, "Look, you can try, but in my experience you would fail. Yeah. However, if you follow the instructions that I'm going to give you, if you follow the path that I'm going to show you, then the opposite takes place. The degree of success is 90, 100%. Why? Well, because we've been doing this for so many years.
Because they know.
They know.
Yeah.
They're dealing with more than one person also with this, right? So they
Exactly.
know families, the dynamics of
Yeah, you
families.
have good
right?
intentions and you have effort, and but even your effort sometimes makes you make the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
So can you describe to us what your life was like in the U.S. when you had no association to support your family versus now? Like what was different? You said something about like public transportation. So did you used to like drive Julian around?
Exactly, yeah.
Everywhere?
Yeah, although in the US, I mean, when you
It's
have,
normal,
when you have kids, it's normal. I
Sure.
mean, you just
So
drive everywhere.
but it does impact your life. So for example, so I would work like everybody, right? You get up in the morning, you say good morning, you eat quick, and you go to work. That's maybe a different topic because the health of the work environment in the US, you eat your sandwich in front of a computer, that adds another dimension. But I would have a very regular life, whereas Annelise, I think she sacrificed a lot of her professional life because of
I had to. I mean, there was no other. So there was like two phases, I would say, from when he turned 5 and he started kindergarten until the end of elementary school, so 11, my 24/7 was that.
Wow.
And it's really 24/7. He might wake up in the middle of the night and you have to do something.
And I mean, I couldn't work because it was a moment where we didn't really know what was going on. We were trying for him to catch up to the others. And so it was a lot of going to therapy, to doctors, find solution. I read all the books that was possible, and I tried all the therapy and everything. So that was, and then we realized that he never did catch up to the others. So, and we found this school in Baltimore that is a specialized school, which gave me
An out.
a little bit, because all what I was doing, then the school was at the time then would be doing all the therapy and all that. So
yeah, at the beginning, those stages, I think for normal family, a disability like that surprises you. It's like a surprise. So you have an expectation of what your life will be, what your son's and daughter's life will be, and then reality comes and crashes that expectation, but you resist. So at the beginning you're resisting, and you say, no, my plan is this, and you kind of want to stick to your plan. And then you realize after, well, you cannot do that. So now that I need another plan, what should it be? What's my other plan? And then the question is, how will I be happy with this new reality? And that's when I think maturing comes for a family with someone with a disability, when the stage comes in which you say, okay, given that this is in our lives, we still have to be happy, and how to do it.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, the US, again, the support, from a child that is in school age, the US gives a lot of support. The public school is as, they all have a plan, and they have the OT that's in school, the speech therapist is within school, so it's very well done. But when we lived in Fayetteville, in Arkansas, I mean, Julian was in his class, I mean, he was the only one by himself. And he's a child who's having,
emotional issues.
Yeah, and it's hard to make friends, and the communication was really an issue. So if we had this association, like the Alfil Association, I think his life would have been very different.
And ours too.
Because every Saturday morning he could have gone and play soccer with, go to the movies with friends, and so. Yeah, I think his life would have been different.
Definitely. So if you have a young child, then do that from the start. Like if we can serve in
I mean, we cannot really compare. I mean, I cannot compare.
But I wish we could talk to us at that moment and say, look, this is something that exists.
Yeah. But it's true that I cannot compare the school system in the US versus the Spanish one. And I do know that in Spain also they have the same support. I don't know what kind of level, but I know they have support in school too. But I cannot really compare the two because he did all his school in the US. But I think but they don't have those associations. And I know that we felt lonely while we were in Arkansas because we didn't know anybody else with a child like Julian.
And they exist everywhere.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
But you didn't know how will you find them, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You can't Google someone else's personal stuff, right?
Exactly. So we did feel, a little lonely there, I think.
And then for now, with Julian being in the association, 2 associations actually, how has that also impacted your lives as parents or as a family?
So my main worry when we moved here, I had two worries, but I thought, because I think the social part of life is very important. And he had a little group of friends in the US, and we were taking him out, and I thought, he's not good. Where do you make friends? You make friends either at school or when you go to work. He was not going to go to school, and he was not going to work. He didn't have a job. And I thought, how is he going to make friends? So that social part and him having friends or somewhere to go with to the movies, I thought, how is he going to do that? And the association was the answer. And now that he's part, he's starting to make friends. And the last weekend he went to the beach with a friend. And, so for me as a mom, if I see that my child tells me, oh, Mom, I'm going to the movies with friends, when I'm happy, I'm just, go. Because I know it's fun to go it's better to go with friends than alone, right? So,
for me, I think it gives you resources. Right? The question here is how that has the association, what have they contributed to your life?
To your life, because they know how it helped Julian.
I think it's a tool. It gives you resources. It's a tool. So, for example, now I belong to the board of directors of this association, so I can understand a little better, not for me, but for other families. So there's costs associated with it, and if you don't have enough money, the association helps you with that, but it's a tool. So if your child needs, psychological services, well, they're specialized. Where do you find them? It's crazy, right? But you don't know where to go. Well, the association would know. Or if questions emerge in life as people get older, right? So if you've noticed that your child has, for example, needs regarding financial education, because it's important, or sexual education, or simple matters, right? How to cook for yourself, how to do laundry. Well, it's not so easy to do that, but then the association gives you resources, and they call them talleres, which are in English workshops, and they go every week, so you can learn how to handle your money. Okay, and after 6 months, they've made progress. Or there are workshops in which they talk about independent life. One which I have identified tremendously, because it's a dream for us to have Julian have an independent life. And what does it mean to have an independent life? Well, it means to be able to manage the electricity bill, the water bill, manage an apartment.
Going to a grocery store.
Yeah, you have to make a choice. Are you going to be able to live by yourself, or do you want to have a roommate? And then the loneliness of uncoupling yourself from your parents is something that we all go through as adults, but someone with a disability, well, it's not the same. So how do you make that transition? And you cannot imagine how to make it, but it so happens that the association has records of people that have gone through that process many years ago, right, and many times before. So they say, well, this is what we know. This is what you will face. So it's a tool for you, and every year there's a new surprise. Every year there's a new challenge. So it is never ending, it's never stopping. So the association in that sense brings that knowledge, brings that experience, and then the support that they offer is also something that it will be too expensive for you to pay for yourself.
Then you're part of a community, and you can ask questions. You know that the family went through this, and you need to go through this. And well, you can contact them and say, "How did you do it?" So because you're part of that community.
So can I say that you felt relief with the association
Ah,
being
yeah,
there?
completely. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Yeah, it
like-
makes your life easier.
Yeah, because when you mentioned, like, when he said he wanted to go to the movies with someone, that's such a normal thing for a child to say. But for you, that felt different when he said that.
Well, yeah, completely. Yeah, when you have a child with a disability, you understand. Yeah, it's no, it's
Yeah.
because everything is an issue. Everything is more complicated. But yeah, to say something as simple, I'm going to the movies with friends. Fantastic. Go. And then I know that because we live close, he walks, so it's 10 minutes walking. Valencia is safe. I know nothing is going to happen to him. We're right there. We know who he's going with because we're part of that community, so we know everybody.
He has a job.
He has a job.
He's able to pay his bills.
Yeah.
So you're charging him rent now? Or will you start charging him?
Yeah, he's
planning,
thinking,
we're planning on-
not quite, but
No, but he has to be ready. It's
Yeah.
one more step.
But
he has to be
yeah,
ready.
It's
to do
it's
it.
the final goal. The final goal is for him to be independent.
Yeah, so it's a step in his life to say, okay, I worked, so I make money, so what do I do with the money now? And for us, maybe for you, is something that you learn from a young age. Well, you have this much money, you can spend this much, and these are your expenses. And well, a lot of people with disabilities don't have that sense of money, so they have to learn it.
So what does your day look like now compared to when you when you were in the US?
Very, very different, and actually a lesson for listeners. I don't think you can come without 100% control plan, but you must have a plan. You cannot just say, oh, I'm going to Spain because it sounds cool. That'll be a huge mistake. You need to have a plan for money, you need to have a plan for family, and you need to have a plan for life. Doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It will not be a perfect plan.
And things gonna happen that are not according to plan, of course.
But you have to have an idea that is realistic about what you will face, right? So in my case, my life is very different. Why? Because my work schedule is different, my family relationship is different, I've grown older, and then Spain has this style of life that the US didn't offer. So so I go downstairs and we go to the bar and we have a drink often, which is just downstairs. You just take the elevator and it's true. And then you do that, or you take the pleasures that Spain has to offer, like the food, the fruits, all the cultural activities around, how easy it is to travel and visit places, and maybe I would say the biggest difference is my life is less focused on work and more focused on recovering the life that I once was so eager to have. But in order to do that, you have to have a plan and you have to be realistic.
And also, I think, regarding Julian, I think since we're here, I have a better vision of what his life is going to look like. And I think as a mother, I'm not as worried. I think he's going to have a better, and after 4 years of living here and seeing what could be, I'm convinced that his quality of life is going to be better here than in the US. So I'm happy that we moved, and I'm more at peace because I think I have like a better idea of what his life is going to look like, so what our life is going to look like too.
Somebody from the US, that's a good point I think that you're making, unless I misunderstood. Somebody from the US, for the most part, you have no idea what city life is. Even if you live in California, even if you live in New York, it doesn't compare to what city life means in Europe, right? City life means that this is my apartment, and if I walk 30 seconds, I can go to the supermarket, I can go to the theater, I can go to somebody who sells glasses, to somebody who sells bread.
The meat store is just down there. Yeah.
The meat store.
Everything.
The hardware store, and then you have a supermarket that is from Morocco, another one that is from China, and it is all within literally, I would say, 40 seconds to 5 minutes walking at most. And that city life, that European style of city life is very difficult to imagine if you live in the US. Has advantages. It may have disadvantages too. Why? Because the spaces are more reduced, right? And because maybe job opportunities are not so plentiful, or they don't pay as well.
Yeah, but those are choices that you make.
Those are choices that you have to make.
Yeah. That's why you have to have that plan that you were talking about.
Yeah, you have to.
To know where you're going.
You have to know before you move.
Yeah.
So if you had stayed in the US, you think Julian would be like, do you feel like he's advanced more in life now because he's here versus if you had stayed in the US?
Like, do you still keep tabs on, without being specific, like, do you still keep tabs on the other parents who have
We do.
children with disabilities back in the US and how they are?
We do, and I think the key to your question is the word life. How do you define that? Has he made more progress than I think he would have done otherwise? My answer is yes. Why? Because I see him, he's relaxed, he's happier, he has access to resources that he didn't have before. Julian is somebody who I would think would struggle quite a bit if he had to work full-time, but his job is adapted. To him, it's very hard to tell a company in the US, please adapt the workplace to his needs. Well, I'm not going to say it's very hard, maybe it is not, but it is certainly easier in Spain to do that. But is he better off than his peers? Well, everybody has his own.
Yeah.
Right? For us, it's better.
For us, as a family.
As a family.
Yeah, definitely.
How has your family life improved as well, like being here in Spain?
Well, life is happier. I think we have more
bars.
Yeah. I think it's. I think we have more fun here.
The level of stress has come down,
especially
around this issue.
Yeah.
Right? The level of stress has come down. I think also.
And you know, life in Spain is just it's fun. Yeah, there's less stress. There's always a fiesta outside and something to watch and thinking, well, the Spanish are here.
It's a more secure path. It's a more certain path for someone with a disability. Right? You're not so exposed to.
And you're more protected
You're more
here.
protected as
You're
a
clearly
person
more
with a
protected,
disability. You're way more protected, so you're not so exposed to the winds of the marketplace or the job market that might threaten you. Right? Somebody who doesn't have a disability and doesn't have health insurance in the US is very exposed.
I mean, let's not even start with the healthcare system.
So in Spain, for a person with a disability that has a job that maybe doesn't pay as much, to have that cover for you makes a huge difference. And then also, I don't know, Julian goes to the movies and he doesn't pay the price that everybody else
pays. They get a
pays.
discount.
He has his disability certificate, so he pays less. Or he has to travel, well, public transportation is free for him.
So I guess that also is helpful to him, because if he has reduced hours when he's working, then he's not earning as much. So like, it helps that he also doesn't have to pay as much for him to enjoy himself. Like, do something that a normal person just does, with a normal salary, just goes and does.
That's exactly true. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Well, I have 2 questions.
Shoot.
3. Okay. First question is, you said you did your research, and so when you found this association, was it everything that you researched? Like, did everything you researched hit all those boxes? Second question is, if not, what were the surprises that you experienced? And then the third one is, well, do that.
I was going to say one at a time, senor.
I'll answer first. For sure, the answer to the first question is no. No. Because you think, you do your research and you think that these are the questions that you should be asking, but not really, right? You should be asking all these other questions. So you're trying, but it's a never-ending learning process.
Especially because you come to a country that is very different from the US.
Very different, yeah.
So you have this mindset of, because we've been living in the US for 25 years, and then you come here and you have to adapt. So new question comes but you need to be here. You cannot foresee all those questions, all those things while you're in the US.
Yeah, it's a never-ending process.
Yeah,
and you might say, well, I'm going to do this through this mechanism, through this tool, and then you find out, no, that's not how you do it. Then you have to change plans and do it somewhere else or differently. So surprises every day, and then just by age, as he ages and we age, then the questions change. So it's never ending.
Yeah, never ending.
But are they mostly pleasant surprises or challenging surprises?
Well, I wouldn't say they're surprises. I would say that
that you need to adapt, learn how they work.
Yeah, and what changes is the environment in which you make the decisions and the way in which you learn how to deal with your problems.
Yeah.
When it comes to the disability part.
Yeah.
Right, so for example, in 𝗏𝗏𝗏, this leisure association that I now belong to, then I have learned that you cannot just sit down and just enjoy Spain, because no, you have to be active. You have to use the tools that are given to you and contribute and mold and become part of the solution. If you don't, then nobody's going to help you, right? Nobody's going to say, oh, your kid's special, let's adapt things to your kid. No, it's just not going to happen. You have to become part of it. It's not a surprise, but yeah, it's something that
it's very different from how, again, very individualistic American culture is, where you're like, okay, off you go.
Yeah, you
and
have.
here,
that's a surprise, I think, for any American that comes to Spain to discover that. Yeah.
That you have to contribute. You have to be part if you want.
Yeah,
this
it's that mentality
Yeah.
in Spain of we solve our problems together, we have our fun together, we dine together, we party together, everything is done as a collective.
Yeah. You've seen them, they're outside, every fiesta, they're part of it.
Yes.
You have the mom, the dad, the grandfather, grandmother, the teenager, the little kid, everybody is there.
Yeah, so
and they all make it happen, and they all make it work.
And so in an association, it's not good enough that you find a solution for you. Well, no, that's not the point. The point is to have a solution that is sustainable and that helps everybody.
Well, speaking of surprises and adapting, do these associations, do they speak only Spanish or do they speak English also?
Mostly Spanish.
Yeah.
It would be hard to find someone who's speaking. Of course, you can find. At 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, there's 2 or 3.
Yeah, so out of 42 families, about 2 families would speak English fluently. And by families, really, I mean
one person.
the person that would interact with Julian most, as a friend, as a peer. Yeah. The professionals that work there, they speak English too, because they're well educated. Some of the parents speak English too. But you're coming to Spain, right? You have a background of people who speak Valencian, not Castilian. You have a background of people that might not be born in Valencia, that are used to their own language. So the dominant language is Castilian by far. And I don't think you want to stick to English. It's not to your advantage, because the social interactions and the assimilation that you want to have into society is dependent on the language that you speak. So even though you might find people who would help you with the language, if you speak English only,
it's not advantage.
It's not ideal.
No.
But it's definitely going to be easier
to be involved. And to be involved, and
especially for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're moving to Spain.
Yeah,
You
I
have
mean,
to learn.
You're in Spain.
but I
Yeah.
think there's a difference
Yeah.
between like going to a restaurant and knowing how to order a cerveza versus you are actually having serious talks,
Sí.
Yeah, completely.
serious
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
conversations with families
Yeah,
that are going through this. So you definitely need that level of Spanish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You do.
You do.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just like completely lost. And
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly the ideal.
Yeah. Yeah.
B1. B1 level is.
no, I don't think that's it. Yeah. But okay, but some people will speak English, but it's just that you will enrich yourself and your family more if you participate in this association and learn by learning Spanish, right?
Well, at
But
least-
being
Yeah.
able to.
Completely.
I feel like the families are moving from the US, especially, and the Philippines probably. Their first language to speak here is going to be English. So at least someone's going to be able to give them like a good starting point. Like there's no association that only speaks Spanish, right? At least they get
Yeah,
approached.
it's not because you don't speak Spanish that they will,
Not
close
help
the
you.
door.
They won't.
No, they won't.
But you have to
They won't.
understand that learning Spanish in class is boring compared to learning Spanish while you're, I don't know, playing chess. Right, while you're having a party, while you're having dinner, while you have an hour of training into how to clean your house, and so actually the association is again a tool for someone who wants to learn a language, but doesn't want to read a book.
That's a good answer.
I love that he said chess for fun.
We do have. Well, but
It's a very brainy answer.
No.
but-
Because- So in our association, to speak about the Spanish way of doing things, so there is a professional chess association in Valencia of professional chess players, and they donate their time to our association of leisure, Alfil. They donate their time, and once a week, a person comes and puts together a workshop, a chess workshop, and then the kids, I call them kids, but well,
Yeah, they're not really kids anymore. They're young adults.
Our association ranges from 18 to 30 years old, more or less, because it is important that they're matched also according to age and life interests. So this person from the Professional Chess Association comes every week, and they put together a workshop, a chess workshop. They teach them chess. They have tournaments, and yeah, these people have a lot of fun, and you learn Spanish while you play chess. So it's not that I was thinking intellectually, it's that this is a truth.
This is what happens really, okay? Because I was like, chess? You barely talk. But like, no, but the terms are there. I don't, yeah. you learn all the chess terms, yeah. And then, so talking about that, you mentioned about age range. So can you find associations in different age levels?
Yeah, there are all kind of association, many association, and so when you do your research, you're going to realize in one they are more for Down syndrome, autism. Yeah, there's all kinds. So there's a lot of them. So you need to find, and you will find, but you need to find one that is a good fit for your child, for you, or for your family. Yeah. But yeah, they do range. Alfil is more of the young adults. But there's other associations that are more for little kids or school-age kids, or association that really take care of the kids until or older people. I mean,
Or for people with particular disabilities, physical disabilities, mental disabilities. It is ideal, I think, to have a support group that understands you and your problem completely.
So you do like personally, what I did the research while a little bit, not that much, while in the US. We came here, I contacted about 10 associations. I went and I met with them and I talked to them and I said, okay, this is Julian and this is what we're looking for. And
Is it a good fit?
Is it a good fit? And out of 10, I think 5 told me, no, it's not going to be a good fit. They told me, no, it's just not going to work out. It's not a good fit. Well, fine. But we did fine. So.
Yeah. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, magic. We have a new guest.
Yes.
So earlier I was talking to your parents, and now, but we all felt that we needed to talk to you because you're your own person and you're an adult, and I want to have this conversation with you.
Yeah. I hope my parents' conversation
It
is
went well.
enlightening.
Yes, it went well. So, hey guys, this is Julian. I would like to introduce you to Julian. He is Fabio and Annelise's first child. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Julian.
I'm 23 and I do a lot of things. I exercise and have many friends that I still remember and still have contact in the US.
Really? Okay. So you've been here for 4 years now, right?
To precise be yes.
Yes. And have you made friends here?
Yes.
So how did you fill your social life? Like, how did you find friends?
With my parents' help a lot. It was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, with my parents' help and finding different association and many tries, but at least we found some that say, this is good for me.
And that association, so you said that's where you met your friends. Is that who you go out with to watch a movie or to do activities with?
Yeah. Watch movies, hang out, talk, and many other things.
Do you see each other often?
Yeah. For the moment, yes.
I forgot to ask, so I'll ask this one. What was your reaction when your parents said, okay, we're moving to Europe?
Well, at the moment it was surprising. And I say, really? Oh, okay, I'm cool with it.
I asked you this before when I think a few years ago. I said, are you happy here? Are you happy there? Are you, back in the US? And you had an answer from me. Do you remember?
The truth is, in a way, I'm happy everywhere.
That's what you said the last time too.
Yeah.
And how is your life now that you've been here 4 years? I heard you had a job.
Yes,
You
I
have
do.
a job, I mean.
I do. I have a job, yes, and I feel comfortable here. It took me 4 years to speak Spanish.
I was gonna ask you actually. Because your dad is Costa Rican, so he spoke Spanish.
Yes.
And your mom as well spoke Spanish.
Yes.
And how about you? When you were a kid, did you speak Spanish, like to a certain extent?
In a way, yes. I could speak Spanish, but not that well. I wish I was a kid. I wish I learned more.
But now you do.
Now I do.
Are you fluent now in Spanish?
In a way, yes.
Oh, that's good. That's better than what Paul and I are.
I won't.
Yeah, don't talk to me in Spanish yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the association? Do you notice how it has helped you in your life? How the associations have helped you in your life?
The association helped me a lot to make friends and broaden my expectations of speaking Spanish.
So it helped you with your Spanish?
Yes, in some ways, and also making good friends.
Has it also, I know there's another association that helps you with your job.
Yes.
So can you talk about that association as well?
I can. It helps me with my job and how the government works, how to do other stuff.
So so the first few times that you started your job, there was a person with you, right? Do you remember what that person does with you?
She explains to me, she says, okay, you need to follow, hear out what they have to say and what not to say. You have to follow what the rules and all different stuff and remember their names.
So she was explaining everything to you.
Yeah.
Do you remember how long it took? How long she was staying there for?
I think about an hour until I get used to it every month. and then I got used to the rhythm and the names and everything.
Okay, so when she left, how did you feel? Like because she doesn't go with you anymore, right?
She sees me once a week,
Okay.
but I think she's slowly letting it go and seeing me once a month or 2 weeks. I sometimes can't remember, but the first time in the job, it was pretty scary for me, having a Spanish job in Spain. It was scary, but I got used to it.
So now you feel comfortable in your job.
Yeah.
Tell us about your job. What do you do?
I help around put clothes where it needs to be put and just purchase clothes and just talk to people if they need help.
So in your work, is there a particular job that you want to do also? And when you watch your coworkers, is there a particular job that you want to do?
No, not really. I'm just cool with whatever they gave me. And just say, can you do this for the time being? Yeah, I can.
Okay. So what does a normal day for you look like?
Oh, I wake up, I study my Spanish, I go on my run, I go to work, I talk to my friends and see what's up.
So what do you do after work?
After work, it depends. After my run? Oh, after work.
After your run, yeah.
After my run, I take my shower, exercise, and see what day or what I can do around the house and try to help my
Oh,
parents.
chores. Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about chores. Do you cook?
I do cook, thanks to my parents.
And then I know that you've become more independent being here now in Spain, because I know sometimes that you're living alone when your parents go on a trip.
Yes.
How do you like that?
The first day it's weird, but after that I get used to it.
What's the longest that you've lived by yourself?
A whole month my parents left. In October, okay. It's when my parents left for my mom's vacation in October.
Yeah.
They left. I remember staying here and going and seeing my sister in Madrid. And she coming here and
But was it nice to also have that time alone for yourself and have the house to yourself? Did you enjoy it?
yes,
What did you like most?
the freedom a little bit, but the first time it was a little bit to say, this is weird.
Yeah.
So after living here for 4 years already, what's your favorite part? What's your favorite thing to do or favorite part of the day?
Going on a run. It just helped me relax.
Are we good? Yeah. I think that's good, Julian. Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell. Shout out to our subscribers for always being awesome. Thanks to the people who support our channel by subscribing, commenting, giving us super thanks, and tipping us with our Buy Us a Coffee link. If you want to pick our brains and book a 60-minute consultation, we have a link for that, and we can give our honest opinions about topics that we haven't covered in our videos.
Thanks to the people in our Facebook group for being awesome members, for generously helping each other.
So I think we covered a lot today. And I really want to thank you both for being honest about something that I think is a very personal issue. And it's such a niche issue too, though. I feel like we have no idea when I mentioned 24/7, you're just like, That's your reality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I can't even imagine that, you know. So I can't even wrap my head around that. But I know that for a lot of people who have kids, there are people who will where this will resonate towards, right? Like this will really like hit home for them. So I really want to thank you for both for being honest and being open about it and talking about that. How can they help you? You've been helpful today. How can our viewers help you?
Well, they can help the association. Like I say, we are 42 families today, and we're still growing. And as an association, well, we have membership fees, and we also accept donations. So we have many projects. The one that I'm involved mostly right now has to do with social and independent life of these people. And if your viewers want to make donations, that'll help quite a bit.
And then will they be able to contact you? Is that something that they can also, like if they have more questions, will you be open to that?
Yeah. People do contact, and it's funny, the questions that they ask, you never know. Yeah, they come in all colors.
But yeah, absolutely.
Thanks again, guys.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been really eye-opening. Yeah.